Now, I want to talk about the interesting interaction that Lane Kiffin had with the Oklahoma player post game. So, there was an Oklahoma player on defense that was talking smack to Lane Kiffin all throughout this game. And once it was over, Lane Kiffin says, you ain't talking that much anymore. And then, the player comes up, he daps him up, and he says, good game. And it was just Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin, having fun, being the troll that he is. But a good amount of the internet has taken offense to how Lane Kiffin conducted himself in this post-game interview, with how he was talking to the Oklahoma player. Felt like he should have showed a little bit more sportsmanship. And listen, at the end of the day, these head coaches are human, and they like to have fun too. And I feel like the trash talk that Lane Kiffin had with the Oklahoma player was more so rooted in good fun. The trash talk that comes with the game of football, there's nothing really disrespectful about it. And you have this large amount of people on the internet that get so bent out of shape when you don't have formal sportsmanship. If a guy's not dapping a dude up after the game and saying good game, if he talks a little smack, people get all bent out of shape about it. There was nothing wrong with Lane Kiffin trash talking the Oklahoma player. If anything, that Oklahoma player more than likely is going to be playing for Lane Kiffin when he ends up coaching Florida next year. Because, the defensive player was having fun talking trash to Lane Kiffin all throughout the game, and Lane Kiffin wasn't responding to it because he had to lock in on managing the rest of his team. But after the game, Lane Kiffin wanted to get back at him, and it was just all in good fun. And that's what makes Lane Kiffin such an interesting personality. Because, yeah, you can say he's a little bit immature, he's childlike, but that's what makes him such a great coach, as far as him being able to connect with his players. Players like a guy that is able to talk a little smack, have a little fun, and not be all serious. You see, everybody thinks that every head coach needs to be like Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, button up on the sideline with a collared shirt, giving the typical coaches speak answers and the post-game interviews. But if every coach acted like Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, then it would be boring. There would be no point in listening to these coaches' post-game interviews, listening to their post-game press conferences. If every coach had the same personality, then it just would make the sport boring. Lane Kiffin makes college football fun. Him trash talking to this Oklahoma player is what makes college football the great sport that it is, because you really wouldn't see this anywhere else. In the NFL, they trash talk a good amount, not as much as what this Oklahoma player probably was doing during this game. But in the NFL, you have a few moments in certain games when the head coach gets into it with one of the players or one of the other coaches. That's just football. This is an emotional sport. And with an emotional sport, when it's over, sometimes you're going to want to get a little something off your chest. And Lane Kiffin dapped up the player. And in his post-game presser, he said that that's one of the best defensive players in America. And it wasn't disrespectful. You don't have to look at a guy directly in his eyes to give him a fair handshake that says good game, that shows good sportsmanship. I feel that the Oklahoma fans that are bent out of shape about this are more so just bitter because they lost this game. More so the fact that Lane Kiffin was going at it with one of their players. It was just good fun. It's not like the dude after the game said, bro, you effing suck. Get out my face. He had fun with them. And I feel Lane Kiffin was doing a little bit of sneaky recruiting with the interaction that he had with this Oklahoma player. He pretty much was saying, hey, bro, you was talking a little bit of shit, but I fuck with you. And if you hit that portal, I'm probably going to be one of the first people banging your line for you to come play for me. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of trash talking. Everybody that's trying to make this a bigger deal than what they are, you're doing the most. You're ODing on what was a moment that makes college football the great sport that it is.